Hey again guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Walt, more also known as Dan Wilson, and we're having an extremely windy day here in the heartland. It's been blowing out there about 20 or so miles an hour all day long, right out of the north. Probably why my hair looks a little frizzy today. I've been in and out of the wind there. And haven't been on the channel in a while. I've been fighting a little bit of head cold and some sinus stuff that are going on. So trying to get back in the groove here and do a little video for you guys. Among other projects, I got a ton of stuff here in the shop I'm working on, trying to get some things fixed up, and still doing some work on the Craftsman push lawnmower over here, because we got mowing season coming up here probably the next couple of weeks or so. And right now my riding lawnmower has a broke down engine. We're going to get to work on that here in the next week or so. So I get some new parts for it. We'll get it up and running again, hopefully. Well, I was going to show you guys, I'm a real tool junkie, I guess. I love getting lots of new tools, and some of my older tools I still use quite a bit. What I got here, well, I'll just grab it here and show it to you. Most folks call it a gear puller, although I've used this to pull off pulleys and other parts that need to come apart. So what I'm working on today is I got a shaft I need to pull off, a pulley assembly on the push riding lawnmower, because I'm going to do a paint job on the underneath side of it. So what I'll do is use this puller right here, kind of show you guys how this thing operates. So let me spin the camera around and get another angle shot going here, show you guys kind of how I'm using this thing. Okay guys, here's what I'm dealing with. As you can see, the underneath side of this push mower is very, very rusty. It's been sitting in the garage for a while. So what I'm planning on doing is pulling the engine off so I can give this new paint job right in through here. And the problem I got here is that this is a self-propelled push mower, and so we got a belt up under there that fits around a pulley. Probably can't see that just yet. I'll show it to you here in just a minute. I'll get this pulled off here. So this is a guard that goes up around this pulley assembly. Right now I got it pulled loose. This is to keep grass and other debris and stuff from getting up around the belt and pulley and stuff. So my problem is that without removing this shaft and pulley system, wish I get you a better shot of that, but anyway, I need to get this off of the crankshaft in order to get this piece here off out of the way, because this will not clear the frame in order to move the engine. So what I've been working on is so showing you this gear puller, and I gotta back this out quite a bit. I had to go to the hardware store and get a longer bolt to put in there, because I've got to have a bolt here up in the crankshaft to have something to basically put this against, so I can something to pull against. So once I get this adjusted here, this video is going to take some editing, I know. This takes a while to set this thing up. The whole idea here, guys, we want to get these hooks on here, have got to grip something up in there. It can be a real hassle to get this thing set up here. We'll get it here in just a minute, hopefully. So I adjust this center shaft in here. This may not be the most exciting video you've ever seen, but if you have to get into something like this, what I'm trying to work on here, hopefully I'll have some helpful information for you guys. Well, anyway, this is basically the idea here. As I said before, you can use a tool like this for pulling gears. I've pulled off flywheels, pulleys, and all kinds of stuff. It's just a bit of a pain in the butt to get it hooked on there, because it has to have something to grab hold of. In this case, we got a bottom plate on here. That's about all I got to get that hooked on there. Next thing we do is we take a wrench. Usually for something like this, a crescent wrench like what I got here works really good. And on the end down here, we have a area we can get the wrench on and get it adjusted. There we go. And we're just going to tighten this up as tight as we can get it. There, about like that. Now the next thing is I got to be very careful not to knock my camera over. Our next thing is we're going to take the mini sledge here and just tap against the center shaft. When I mean tap, I don't mean just haul off and go wham it, because we could damage the crankshaft, and we sure don't want to do that. Got to move the camera just a little bit, give me a little bit of swinging room. Reminds me of a country song came out a few years ago, just a swinging. Today we're swinging mini sledgehammer. Okay, we're going to see if we can get this thing to move at all, and so we're just going to give this a little tap. Another tap. I can't tell if it's moving or not. Another tap. Moved a little bit, not much. So we just gotta retighten. See, what'll happen here is we get this shaft closer to coming off, this is gonna loosen up right here. So we gotta realign our pin there a little bit. Get centered up. Tap. Tap. Use about 2 taps at a time. We'll retighten. Recenter. Tap. 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 I think it's moving. What tends to happen, guys, with stuff like this, it's a little bit like when you're changing out U-joints, if you've ever done that. And at first, it'll act like it's never going to move. And eventually, it will pop loose, hopefully. I can already tell when I get done with this deal here, I got a tap and die kit. I got to go up in there and re-tap the hole up in the crankshaft, and hopefully not do any damage to the oil seal. Which I'll find that out later if necessary. I'll change out the oil seal. Sometimes when you're beating on something like this, it can cause a little damage to the crankshaft. I hope not in this case. One important thing is try to hit this as directly on as possible and not give it too hard a smack at a time. As far as I know, this pulley assembly shaft has never been off this machine. That's why it's been a little stubborn about coming off there. Now my puller just slipped off. Well, guys, I finally got my pulley assembly popped loose here, and the old gear puller is a little cumbersome to handle sometimes and a little tricky to get the thing hooked on there just right, but once I get it worked out here, it worked out pretty darn good. So here we go. Pulley assembly came right off just like that. That's what it looks like. And as I mentioned before, this pulley on top here is because it's a self-propelled push mower, and this is to run our belt here. It's all reattached to our drive wheels on the front. So there we go. That is how to remove a pulley assembly. Same thing applies to pulling gears, pulling flywheels, or whatever else needs to come apart. So it came off fairly easily once I had to do a little pounding on there. As I said before, it's like working with U-joints and stuff. Some of them are pretty stubborn to get apart, but eventually it'll come loose. Well, now that we got the pulley assembly off of the crankshaft on the push mower, and one thing I was going to show you guys, I know it's going to be really hard to see in the video. You probably can't tell very well, but I'll try to get a shot of this. Well, not very well. Anyway, on the side of the pulley assembly, we have what's called a keyway. And what we have on the crankshaft is a slot. And what this does is it keeps the shaft from spinning loose on the crankshaft. And one thing that happened during this little procedure, you guys probably won't be able to see this at all, this little tiny little part right here. I'll try to get this up to the camera so you can see that. Just it looks like a piece of broken metal. What this is called the key. What this is in there for, it slips into a slot inside this pulley housing down here, and then the other side of this goes into the slot on the crankshaft. So what that does is, as I was saying before, that's so our shaft doesn't just spin freely inside the pulley housing, so it'll lock it in place, and that will make sure everything turns correctly. So this one got a little bent up during our procedure, but these are very easy to replace. And I'll get to the hardware store whenever I get a chance and get a new one to put in there. That's what it looks like. So that is how to remove a somewhat stubborn pulley assembly, and I was able to help you guys out in case you get into something like that on your own. And again, having one of these is invaluable in a process like this. Again, this is my gear slash pulley puller, flywheel puller, and whatever else might need to pull off a part there. One kind of a neat thing while I got this going here, just show you guys. This is a pretty cool tool because has multiple mounting holes on there, so I can shorten this by taking this nut and bolt apart here. Well, I'll just go ahead and do it, show you how this works. I lost one of the nuts on here a little while ago, and fortunately I had another one in my parts bin over there that fit right on it. It's really hard to do all this, so I got my hands full stuff, but you can see I can shorten this if necessary. Put my bolt back in. Well, it's being a little ornery. It'll go in. There we go. And that way I can shorten the hook up to that length like that if need be. If necessary, on some larger parts, I can take it and spin it around like this and do the same thing. I can put it in the longer end over here. Bolt slides in, goes in that strap right there, like that. So now if need be, we've got a longer hook on there for larger flywheels or larger pulleys or gears or whatever, so we can reach it better. And that's how that works. I want to thank you guys for checking out the video. I also want to thank some new subscribers. Just hopped on board in the last few days. And I met a very nice lady named Olivia at the Heartland Home and Garden Show just this past weekend. And she subscribed to my channel right there on the spot. So Olivia, if you're watching this video, give you a quick shout out and say a quick hello to you. And thanks for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. Olivia is one of the few subscribers I've actually met in person. And I hope to meet some more of you guys when I get out and about at some of the public events and stuff. I want to thank you guys for checking out the video. If you like this kind of stuff, be sure and subscribe for more great video content coming up in the very near future. So I got some more repair stuff coming up, and I'll show you guys some more tips and pointers on how we do some of this repair stuff on our lawn and garden equipment or whatever else might come up. So if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. Again, I'm Walt Moore, also known as Dan Wilson, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.